So your church has been contacted by a telecommunications company to install a tower on your property for which you will receive a monthly payment. Sounds like an easy way to make some unexpected income. Such offers have proliferated during the current recession as telecommunications companies seek to obtain lucrative contracts with churches that are in need of cash. But before you sign such an agreement, let me share a few tips. First, be sure the construction of a communications tower will not violate local zoning laws. Second, be aware of the possible impact on your church's property tax exemption. Usually, rental of church property will result in at least a partial loss of exemption from property taxes. In the case of a telecommunications tower, the impact might be minimal because such a small amount of land is being rented, but this still needs to be checked out. Third, be sure to have an attorney review the rental agreement before you sign it. Usually these agreements are very one-sided in favor of the telecommunications company. There should be a definite term with renegotiation of rental payments on a periodic basis. Also, the church should have the right to terminate the contract at specified intervals for any reason. I have seen a lot of churches get stuck with terrible rental agreements that they can't change or terminate for decades, if ever. Finally, you need to consider the unrelated business income tax, which is a federal tax that the tax code imposes on the unrelated business income of churches and other public charities. In 1998, the IRS ruled that rental fees received by charities for the erection of telecommunications towers on their property were exempt from this tax. However, the IRS revoked this ruling in 2001 and concluded that rents received by charities for the use of communications towers or antennae constructed on their property are subject to the unrelated business income tax. The IRS limited its ruling to receipts attributable solely to the rental of the broadcasting tower. This suggests that the rental of a specified area of church property on which a communications tower is erected may be partially or wholly exempt from the unrelated business income tax. The IRS did not specifically address this issue in its 2001 ruling. In that ruling, the IRS stressed that the tax code exempts rentals from real estate that is owned debt-free from the unrelated business income tax, and reasoned that this exception does not apply to rentals of radio towers, since a tower is personal property rather than real property. Note, though, that the exemption of rents from real property from the unrelated business income tax does not apply to debt-financed property, and this means that if the rented property is subject to an acquisition indebtedness, then the rents are subject to a partial tax based on the ratio of the value of the property to the amount of the indebtedness. So before you succumb to the promise of quick and easy cash, be sure you do your homework, retain an attorney, and carefully consider each of these points.